more than we got to teach kids more than compliance. We got to.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day, it's very different from say like my dad who grew up like in a segregated society. Like if his grandmother was telling him, okay, don't you go through the building that way. Like there was a reason for that. Like back then, people were getting killed for walking in the wrong places and buildings and getting strung up by trees and stuff. We're really not in that era anymore. Like
Right.
compliance was very important then. Now that we know better than our elders, we should be doing better. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with expecting compliance from your kid, but explaining to your children this is why you need to be compliant in this area. That's where some of us are missing the mark. We don't want to have the conversation, and we have to have the conversation because how else are they going to learn to think and make decisions on their own? How are they going to learn
Exactly.
how to do that? How are they going to be able
Exactly.
to identify like their high risk thoughts and thoughts that get them in trouble versus okay, this is what we're teaching you at home, and this is why we're teaching you this at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to have conversations. And yes, there's dysfunction in every family, absolutely. But if you know better, it's up to us with every generation. We're responsible for evolving and doing better.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to do it because if we don't, we're going to see some of these things that we continue to see in the school system, that we continue to see in the public. That's just
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree,
I
y'all.
I also think if I know some parents don't know how to communicate without. Well, they know how to communicate. They just don't know how to properly communicate with their kid. Because I've heard parents try to explain some things to their kids about certain things. You like, hold on, you telling them too much. Like you ain't supposed to be saying all of that. That's just like for the age. Sometimes you be like, mm, I want to talk to my daughter about certain things like that when they like, I just seen some, and we call them ratchet parents. You know what I'm saying? When they be talking to their kids, talking about, and then you want to talk to that little boy, and he probably go have you end up sucking it. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You be like, it's a different. You're not supposed to say all that. Just say, just watch out for these little boys. They're nasty. You know what I'm saying? But I just seen some like my wife said, like friends talking to her daughters like they was grown, like goddamn, no, they you gotta if you not at that point where you know how to switch up and talk to, like, cause kids do it all the time. They'll come in and they talk to adults how they will talk to their friends. You expect that from a kid, but as adults we should know how to talk to this type of person and that type of person, this type of person. And some adults just don't know how to code switch, and they be talking reckless to their kid, and now they kid a little bit traumatized, or it's kind of crazy. So and I understand why some parents will say like just do what I say, because like you say they feel they uncomfortable with explaining to the kid why, you
Mm,
know and sometimes that might be the best way for them at that point, but they still got to figure out and find a way to communicate with their kids better, to explain stuff to them before the wrong person try to explain it to them, and
yeah,
now it's really bad.
yeah. I think about like the kids who were like, um, I had to say, not necessarily sheltered coming up, but their parents told them they couldn't really do a lot. Um, and maybe they were sheltered, but their yeah, their parents like always said, just do what I say, do what I say, not as I do, and don't ask no questions. Kids don't ask questions. Don't ask me why. Just do it. They grow up and they don't even understand, like we've been talking about, why their parents have been telling them, watch who your friends are, watch who you hang out with, don't, they don't understand. So then they do everything that you told them not to do. And that's why you'll see them like, kind of like go wild, once they hit the college age, because they literally don't know anything. All you did was restrict them. You didn't teach them, you didn't really raise them. You just restricted them and controlled them. And now you can't control them and they don't know anything. Not saying that we're not going to, everybody's going to make some mistakes, right? But it's like you have some people who go out there, you literally send your kids out there to the world and they don't know anything, but mama said don't do it. And I think we all know a lot of times when you tell somebody not to do something, it makes them want to do it even more. Yeah.
Man, what you talking about? Look at Ashley describing my childhood. I love it. Because I love my grandma dearly. I do. Like, I tear up because some of the stuff my grandma told me, now I know why she told me what she told me. But at the same time, I can honestly say she definitely wasn't a friend of mine, but she definitely was a beacon of light. Like, I'm telling you, as a grown woman who has had children and has experience with men, this is what you don't want to do. And I'm glad I listened to her, because even though it was like, you can't date, you can't do this, you can't do that, I had to figure out so much on my own. But even in that same token, I got to use what she taught me to actually make my own decisions when it did come to men, and it actually paid off. So, that whole I ain't your friend, that's working. Because I'm not your friend. We can communicate, but I'm not your friend.
Okay. All right, y'all. So we hit the 20-minute mark with that conversation. Before I change conversations, I want to play a little clip. Oftentimes we laugh, right, at Black parenting, even though it's so darn dysfunctional at times. But here's just a little short, funny clip.
Mommy. No, pull your hands down like you did in school.
Mommy, are you gonna hit me?
The longer you make me wait, the harder I'm gonna hit. Oh boy, do not play with me today. Do not play with me. I'm not the one to play with. Don't cry yet. I didn't even touch you. But bring the ass here.
Mommy, please.
Y'all, don't do that to your kids. Don't do it.
Cause let's just be honest, and I ain't gonna say no more. I can talk about parenting all day. But some of these kids, y'all hitting them, and it's making them worse. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Well, shit, that was the first time I did with my son when he was in school, being mad, just humping on girls. The only time I whooped him, shit.
Yeah.
What else to do? Like, this shit is serious. You can't be humping a little girl that like you about to raise no rapists. What's going on right now?
Right.
But I was much younger too. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have the skills that I have now to communicate with him and talk to him. So I was like just going off, emotion mostly, and and what I thought I should do at that moment.
Yeah. And I think we had this conversation before. Like, if Raven was here, she'd be like, no hitting, no spanking, no nothing. But, I'm not really one of those that's like, don't ever do it. Because I'm a firm believer. You spare the rod, you spoil the child. I do believe that. I just think, unfortunately, a lot of parents, because of what you just said, they don't know what else to do, or they're emotional. And that's like
they do it for everything.
Exactly. We talked about
everything is a whooping time.
Yeah. And then it just becomes like just toxic, right?
Take your ass to bed. Why you in? Hey, I ain't gonna put I love my grandma, R.I.P. But she used to whoop us for laughing. My grandma used to whoop me and my cousin ass for laughing too much. Like, it was because we was just goofy, and at the time we'd get a whooping and keep on laughing again. We get about 3 or 4 whoopings that night, because we was just real goofy. But
them whoopings must not have been that good.
Man, they wouldn't like the whoopings like
couldn't have been.
But it was like little spankings, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was enough to make us shut up for like a couple of minutes, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like, and then we had to say something, but we was just too goofy. We just kept, you know what I'm saying? But
all right, y'all. All right, so welcome to the ladies' room.